Hello everyone. Welcome back to Speora. I am Vicky.
And welcome to day 4 of our 30 Days English Speaking Challenge.
First, if you completed day 1, day 2, and day 3, I want you to be proud of yourself. Because you are not just watching English videos. You are actually practicing. And that is what makes the difference. In day 3, we practiced interviews, restaurants, travel conversations, and everyday English. Today, we are going on a new journey. Imagine you are standing inside a busy airport. You have a flight to catch. There are people everywhere. Some are checking their tickets. Some are carrying their luggage.
And some are rushing toward their gates.
You look at your watch. And suddenly, you realize you don't know where the check-in counter is. Don't panic. Today, you are going to learn exactly what to say. You walk toward an airport employee. You smile and say, "Excuse me, could you help me, please? Excuse me, could you help me, please?" Very good. The employee smiles and asks, "Of course. What do you need help with?" "Of course. What do you need help with?" Now answer naturally. "I'm looking for the check-in counter for my flight." "I'm looking for the check-in counter for my flight." The employee points toward the left and says, "The check-in counters are on the second floor. You can take the escalator over there." "The check-in counters are on the second floor. You can take the escalator over there."
Now reply politely.
"Thank you very much. I really appreciate your help." "Thank you very much. I really appreciate your help." Excellent. Notice how simple these sentences are. You don't need complicated English to communicate confidently. You just need the right words and regular practice. Now, pick up your luggage. Take a deep breath. And let's continue with your airport journey. Great. You follow the employee's directions and take the escalator to the second floor. You look around. And finally, you see the check-in counters. You walk toward your airline counter. The staff member smiles and says, "Good morning. May I see your passport and ticket, please?" "Good morning. May I see your passport and ticket, please?" Now answer politely. "Good morning." "Certainly. Here you are." "Good morning." "Certainly. Here you are." The staff member checks your documents. Then she asks, "Do you have any bags to check in? Do you have any bags to check in?" Now answer, "Yes, I have one suitcase and one backpack." "Yes, I have one suitcase and one backpack." She weighs your suitcase and says, "Your suitcase is within the allowed weight limit." Your suitcase is within the allowed weight limit. You smile and say, "That's good to hear." "Thank you." "That's good to hear." "Thank you." The staff member prints your boarding pass. She hands it to you and says, "Here is your boarding pass." Your gate number is 24. Here is your boarding pass. Your gate number is 24. Now answer. Thank you. Could you please tell me where gate 24 is? Thank you. Could you please tell me where gate 24 is? She points toward the right and says, Go straight and turn right. Gate 24 is near the coffee shop. Go straight and turn right. Gate 24 is near the coffee shop. Now reply. Thank you for your help. Have a great day. Thank you for your help. Have a great day. Excellent. Now remember these useful phrases. May I see your passport, please? Do you have any bags to check in? Could you please tell me where the gate is? Thank you for your help. Repeat them slowly. And imagine yourself actually using them at an airport. Because the goal of this challenge is not just to memorize English. The goal is to make English a natural part of your life. Now, take your boarding pass and get ready for the next situation. Excellent. You have your boarding pass. Your luggage is checked in. And now, it is time to go through security. You walk toward the security area. There are several people waiting in line. You stand patiently and wait for your turn. Finally, a security officer looks at you and says, Good morning. Please place your bag on the tray. Good morning. Please place your bag on the tray. Now answer politely. Sure. No problem. Sure. No problem. You place your backpack on the tray. The officer checks your belongings. Then asks, Do you have any electronic devices in your bag? Do you have any electronic devices in your bag? Now answer. Yes, I have a laptop and a mobile phone. Yes, I have a laptop and a mobile phone. The officer says, Please take your laptop out of the bag. Please take your laptop out of the bag. Now answer. Certainly. I'll take it out. Certainly. I'll take it out. You place the laptop in another tray and walk through the security scanner. A few seconds later, the officer says, Everything is fine. You can collect your belongings. Everything is fine. You can collect your belongings. Now reply. Thank you. Thank you. You collect your laptop. Put everything back into your backpack and continue walking. Suddenly, you realize that you still have plenty of time before your flight. You look at your boarding pass again. Your gate is number 24. You check the airport screen and see your flight number. It says, Boarding will begin in 30 minutes. Boarding will begin in 30 minutes. You smile because you are not late. Now, you decide to buy a coffee. You walk toward a small coffee shop near your gate. The cashier smiles and asks, What would you like to have? What would you like to have? Now answer confidently. I'd like a hot coffee, please. And could I have a sandwich as well? I'd like a hot coffee, please. And could I have a sandwich as well? The cashier asks. Would you like anything else? Would you like any? You finish your coffee and sit near gate 24. People are talking, reading, and checking their phones. Suddenly, you hear an announcement. Passengers traveling to Mumbai, please proceed to gate 24 for boarding. You check your boarding pass and smile. That's your flight. You stand up, pick up your backpack, and walk toward the gate. A staff member checks your boarding pass. She asks, "May I see your boarding pass, please?" Now answer. Sure. Here you are. The staff member checks it and says, "Thank you. You can board the flight now." Now reply, "Thank you very much." You walk toward the aircraft and finally enter the plane. A flight attendant welcomes you. She says, "Good morning. Welcome aboard." Now answer naturally. "Good morning. Thank you." She looks at your boarding pass and says, "Your seat is 18A. It is on the left side." Now repeat. "My seat is 18A. Thank you." You find your seat and place your backpack in the overhead compartment. A passenger sitting next to you smiles and asks, "Is this your first time flying?" Now answer, "Yes. This is my first flight. I'm actually very excited." The passenger smiles and says, "Don't worry. Flying is easier than it looks." Now reply, "That's good to know. Thank you." The passenger asks, "Where are you traveling to?" Now answer, "I'm traveling to Mumbai. I have an important meeting there." The passenger says, "That's great. I hope your meeting goes well." Now reply confidently, "Thank you. I really appreciate that." Excellent. Notice how simple these sentences are. You don't need complicated English to communicate confidently. You need simple words, regular practice, and the courage to speak. Now fasten your seatbelt, because the plane is ready for takeoff. And your English journey continues. The plane takes off. You look through the window and see the city getting smaller. You feel excited, but you also feel a little nervous. The passenger sitting next to you notices and asks, "Are you okay?" Now answer naturally, "Yes, I'm fine. It's just my first flight." The passenger smiles and says, "Don't worry. You'll get used to it." Now repeat, "Thank you. I feel much better now." A few minutes later, the flight attendant comes toward you. She asks, "Would you like something to drink?" Now answer, "Yes, please. Could I have some water?" She smiles. "Of course." She gives you a bottle of water. You say, "Thank you very much." Now, let's learn another useful sentence. If you want coffee, you can say, "Could I have a cup of coffee, please?" Repeat, "Could I have a cup of coffee, please?" Excellent. You don't have to say, "Give me coffee." That can sound too direct. Instead, "Could I have a cup of coffee, please?" This sounds polite and natural. Now imagine the flight attendant asks, "Would you like anything to eat?" You can answer, "Yes, please. I'd like a sandwich." Repeat, "Yes, please. I'd like a sandwich." Or, if you don't want anything, you can simply say, "No, thank you. I'm fine." Repeat, "No, thank you. I'm fine." Very good. The flight continues. You take a small bite of your sandwich and look outside the window. After some time, the captain makes an announcement. "We will be landing in Mumbai shortly. Please fasten your seatbelts." You check your seatbelt and smile. You are almost there. Now, think about what you have practiced today. You asked for help. You checked in. You went through security. You ordered coffee. You talked to another passenger. And you communicated confidently. All in English. That's real progress. Remember, you don't need perfect English. You need confident English. Keep practicing. And keep S. The plane is now getting ready to land. You can see the city through the window. The flight attendant reminds everyone, "Please make sure your seatbelt is fastened." You check your seatbelt and make sure your seat is upright. The passenger next to you smiles and says, "We're almost there." Now reply, "Yes. I'm really excited to arrive." The plane lands safely. A few moments later, the passengers start leaving the aircraft. You pick up your backpack and walk toward the airport exit. Now you need to find the baggage claim area. You see an airport employee nearby. You walk toward him and ask, "Excuse me, could you tell me where the baggage claim area is?" Repeat, "Excuse me, could you tell me where the baggage claim area is?" The employee points toward the right and says, "Go straight and take the escalator downstairs." Now reply, "Thank you very much." You follow his directions and reach the baggage claim area. There are several luggage belts. You look at the screen and find your flight number. You wait near the correct belt. After a few minutes, your suitcase appears. You pick it up and check your luggage carefully. Everything is there. You feel relieved. Now you need to leave the airport. But before leaving, you want to ask about a taxi. You see an information desk. You walk toward it and say, "Excuse me, where can I find a taxi?" Repeat, "Excuse me, where can I find a taxi?" The staff member answers, "The taxi stand is outside the main entrance." Now reply, "Thank you for your help." Excellent. Here are 3 useful sentences to remember. Could you tell me where the baggage claim area is? Where can I find a taxi? Thank you for your help. These sentences are simple, but they are extremely useful when you travel. Now imagine you are standing outside the airport. Your suitcase is beside you, and you are ready to explore a new city. But there, you are standing outside the airport. Your suitcase is beside you. Now you need to find your hotel. You look at your phone, but the internet is not working. You see a taxi driver nearby. You walk toward him and say, "Excuse me, could you take me to this hotel?" Repeat, "Excuse me, could you take me to this hotel?" The driver asks, "Do you have the address?" Now answer, "Yes, I have it on my phone." Repeat, "Yes, I have it on my phone." You show him the address. He says, "Yes, I know this hotel." Now ask, "How long will it take to get there?" Repeat, "How long will it take to get there?" The driver says, "It will take about 30 minutes." Now reply, "That sounds good. Let's go." Repeat, "That sounds good. Let's go." You put your suitcase in the trunk and sit in the back seat. The driver starts the car. After a few minutes, he asks, "Is this your first time in Mumbai?" Now answer, "Yes, it is. It's my first time here." Repeat, "Yes, it is. It's my first time here." The driver smiles and says, "You should visit some famous places while you're here." Now reply, "Definitely. I'd love to explore the city." Repeat, "Definitely. I'd love to explore the city." The driver asks, "How long are you staying?" Now answer, "I'm staying for 3 days. I have a business meeting tomorrow." Repeat, "I'm staying for 3 days. I have a business meeting tomorrow." Excellent. You are having a real conversation in English. Remember this useful question. How long are you staying? You can use it when talking about trips, hotels, or visits. Now repeat. How long are you staying here? How long are you staying in India? Very good. The taxi continues toward your hotel. You look outside and enjoy the city. After about 30 minutes, the driver says, "We've arrived. Now let's continue with your hotel conversation." You arrive at the hotel. The taxi stops near the main entrance. You take your suitcase and walk inside. A receptionist smiles and says, "Good evening. Welcome to our hotel." Now answer, "Good evening. Thank you." The receptionist asks, "Do you have a reservation?" Now say, "Yes, I have a reservation under the name Vicky." Repeat, "Yes, I have a reservation under the name Vicky." The receptionist checks the computer and says, "Yes, I found your reservation. May I see your ID, please?" Now answer, "Certainly. Here you are." Repeat, "Certainly. Here you are." She checks your ID and gives it back. Then she says, "Your room is on the 5th floor. Here is your room key." Now reply, "Thank you. Could you please tell me where the elevator is?" Repeat, "Could you please tell me where the elevator is?" The receptionist points toward the left and says, "The elevator is just over there." Now answer, Thank you very much. You take your luggage and walk toward the elevator. A hotel employee offers to help you. He asks, "Would you like me to help you with your luggage?" Now answer politely, "Yes, please. That would be very helpful." Repeat, "Yes, please. That would be very helpful." He takes your suitcase and walks with you to the elevator. You reach the 5th floor and finally find your room. You open the door, put your luggage inside, and look around. The room is clean and comfortable. You smile and say, "This room is perfect." Repeat, "This room is perfect." You sit on the bed. Take a deep breath and relax for a moment. But then, you remember something important. You have a business meeting tomorrow morning. So you decide to call the reception desk and ask about breakfast. You pick up the phone and say, "Hello, I'd like to ask about breakfast." Now, let's continue this conversation. You arrive at the hotel.
The taxi stops near the main entrance.
You take your suitcase and walk inside.
A receptionist smiles and says,
"Good evening. Welcome to our hotel." Now answer, "Good evening. Thank you." The receptionist asks, "Do you have a reservation?" Now say, "Yes, I have a reservation under the name Vicky." Repeat, "Yes, I have a reservation under the name Vicky." The receptionist checks the computer and says, "Yes, I found your reservation. May I see your ID, please?" Now answer, "Certainly. Here you are." Repeat, "Certainly. Here you are." She checks your ID and gives it back. Then she says, "Your room is on the 5th floor. Here is your room key." Now reply, "Thank you. Could you please tell me where the elevator is?" Repeat, "Could you please tell me where the elevator is?" The receptionist points toward the left and says, "The elevator is just over there." Now answer, "Thank you very much." You take your luggage and walk toward the elevator. A hotel employee offers to help you. He asks, "Would you like me to help you with your luggage?" Now answer politely, "Yes, please. That would be very helpful." Repeat, "Yes, please. That would be very helpful." He takes your suitcase and walks with you to the elevator. You reach the 5th floor and finally find your room. You open the door, put your luggage inside, and look around. The room is clean and comfortable. You smile and say, "This room is perfect." Repeat, "This room is perfect." You sit on the bed. Take a deep breath and relax for a moment. But then, you remember something important. You have a business meeting tomorrow morning. So you decide to call the reception desk and ask about breakfast. You pick up the phone and say, Hello, I'd like to ask about breakfast. Now, let's continue this conversation. You pick up the phone and call the reception desk. The receptionist answers. Good evening. How may I help you? Now reply. Good evening. I'd like to ask about breakfast. Repeat. Good evening. I'd like to ask about breakfast. The receptionist asks. Would you like to know the breakfast timings? Now answer. Yes, please. What time does breakfast start? Repeat. Yes, please. What time does breakfast start? She replies. Breakfast starts at 7 in the morning and ends at 10. Now say. That's perfect. Thank you. Repeat. That's perfect. Thank you. You pause for a moment. Then remember another question. You ask. Is breakfast included with my room? Repeat. Is breakfast included with my room? The receptionist checks your booking and says, yes, breakfast is included. Now reply. Great. That's good to know. Repeat. Great. That's good to know. Before ending the call, you ask one more question. Could you please give me a wake-up call at 6:30 tomorrow morning? Repeat. Could you please give me a wake-up call at 6:30 tomorrow morning? The receptionist answers. Certainly. We will call your room at 6:30. Now say. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Repeat. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You put the phone down and smile. That was a complete hotel conversation. Now remember these useful sentences. I'd like to ask about breakfast. What time does breakfast start? Is breakfast included with my room? Could you please give me a wake-up call? These sentences can be extremely useful when you stay at a hotel. Now imagine. It is the next morning. Your phone rings at 6:30. You wake up, get ready, and go downstairs for breakfast. But something unexpected happens. You can't find your table. Let's see how you handle it in the next conversation. The next morning. Your alarm rings at 6:30. You get ready for your business meeting and go downstairs for breakfast. A waiter smiles and asks, Good morning. Would you like tea or coffee? Now answer. Good morning. I'd like a cup of coffee, please. Repeat. I'd like a cup of coffee, please. The waiter asks, Would you like anything to eat? Now say, Yes, please. I'd like some toast and eggs. Repeat. I'd like some toast and eggs. Excellent. After breakfast, you leave the hotel and prepare for your meeting. Before we finish day 4, let's quickly revise today's important sentences. Could you help me, please? Repeat. Could you help me, please? Could you tell me where the gate is? Repeat. Could you tell me where the gate is? Where can I find a taxi? Repeat. Where can I find a taxi? How long will it take to get there? Repeat. How long will it take to get there? Do you have a reservation? Repeat. Do you have a reservation? I'd like to ask about breakfast. Repeat. I'd like to ask about breakfast. Could you please give me a wake-up call? Repeat. Could you please give me a wake-up call? Amazing! Today you learned how to speak English. At the airport, during a flight, in a taxi, and at a hotel. But remember, don't just listen to these sentences. Speak them aloud. Make mistakes. Correct yourself. And try again. That's how confidence grows. You don't need to become fluent overnight. You only need to become a little better every day. I am Vicky. And this is Speora. Thank you for completing day 4
of our 30 Days English Speaking Challenge.
If you enjoyed today's lesson, subscribe to Speora and come back tomorrow for day 5. Until then, keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.